Okay, this is a video of a Pyle PLDNV695 double-din stereo that I installed in my 2012 Malibu. Hope the light is good enough for you in here, because it's a little late at night, or in the evening I should say, but hey, it looks good on my camera. Sorry if it doesn't show up any better. Okay, it's not a bad stereo system. Comes with some built-in logos for different vehicles, as you can see the startup logo there. For controls on the front here, we have mute, power on off, home, navigation, volume plus and minus, eject. Now this is FM radio here. It's not so bad. It's got 9 presets for FM and 9 presets for AM. Okay, and a lot of other little gizmos and things on there. I'm not quite sure what they are. DX, PTY, TA. I don't know. Don't really need them. I never really bought it for those. If we want to go home here. Here we are in the home menu. I don't know what that reflection is. I wish it would piss off though. But in the home menu here, we have DVD, radio, navigation, Bluetooth. As you can see, maybe you can see, right there we have an SD card slot. And over here we have a second SD card slot, and that one's just for maps and background graphics and startup graphics. So you can actually put your own wallpaper and stuff on here. It's pretty cool. I didn't bring an SD card with me for the video, sorry. Maybe I should have thought of that. Everything seems to be working pretty good on here. It's not a bad stereo. I really bought it for the navigation and the Bluetooth. And both of them seem to work okay. Now the Bluetooth is a little funny though. I don't know if it's my phone. I wouldn't be surprised if it's my phone. But when I go to look up a phone number in my address book on my phone using the Bluetooth on the stereo, here it's trying to get me to update the maps. But when I go to try to do that, it is unfortunately not picking up my entire address book. Here we go. This is a little better. Okay, and it's actually not so bad to set up. But yeah, I really hope this video turns out okay. Create a route from my current GPS position. Okay, here's a few that I've set up already. And this is the one I did for testing, just for my work. Now, it's not the fastest GPS in the world or anything like that. But it does the job that I need it to do. And I can stop, wasting the battery on my phone, using the GPS on my phone. And here we go. It's basically all set up there. And once I start driving, the voice will be activated. It does turn by turn. It's not so bad. And it doesn't pronounce the street names like it does on my phone, which is too bad. I sort of like that. But it's pretty good at telling you when to turn, and how many streets down, and how many meters away your turns are, and stuff like that. And overall, I'm pretty happy with it. And this was in Canadian dollars, about $260. And the mounting hardware I needed for it, plus the interface adapter for wiring it into my car and keeping the chimes, and the wrap, which is keeping the power on for the accessories after you turn the key off. as well as signal light noises and stuff like that. That was about $150 for all that stuff, plus the mounting hardware and everything. So it's not too bad. If you're going to pick up a Pioneer or something like that that has all these functions, yeah, you're probably going to be looking from $700 to $1,000. And I just didn't want to spend that kind of money. I was messing around on Amazon, and I found these Pyle stereos, and they're not bad. You actually have to trim the mounting hardware on here because Pyle doesn't quite know how to make a real double din stereo, and this is too big. So I had to go all the way around, and off each side of that bracket I had to trim 2 millimeters before I could get it to fit in there. And as you can see, the depth isn't perfect. You can see it sticks out about 2 millimeters as well, and which is unfortunate. I really wanted it to be perfectly flush, but the depth of the stereo is wrong for double din. It's about 2 or 3 millimeters too deep. So you know, this is actually right against the front of the compartment that they have for mounting a stereo. So there's just really nothing I could do about that, unfortunately. It's not bad though. I'm fairly happy with the installation. And all in all, it's not too bad. There's the Bluetooth. And here I can, you know, check out my phone book. And this is, as I'm saying, for some reason. Oh, geez, I think I left my phone in the house. Sorry, I can't do that. But normally it would come up here with a list of my phone book entries. And it's only listing about 25% of the entries. I haven't quite figured out why it's doing this yet. I have no idea. It could be maybe the age of my phone. It's a Samsung Galaxy S1. It's a couple of years old. But, you know, it's running Gingerbread, which is as updated as I can get on that phone. And I'm really not going to go out and replace the phone to fix that. This is mostly for incoming calls anyway, so if someone calls me while I'm in the car, I can answer the phone without, you know, having to pick up my phone. All I have to do is press a button on here. So that's not bad. I'm pretty happy with it, and I'm pretty happy with the GPS. Those are the functions that I bought it for. So overall, not so bad. There's the home button up here, or the back button I should say. The interface is pretty slick. You can see over here there's TV. Well, it doesn't come with a TV tuner. And unfortunately, I can't move that icon out of the way and put something else in its place, which is sort of dumb. Same with the auxiliary here. I don't have any auxiliary components. I'd like to be able to move that off to the side and put something else on there, but unfortunately I can't do that. And it loves, by the way, if you're in a function like the Bluetooth, you can see it was sort of blinking there. And you go back to the main menu here, after a few seconds it'll go back to the last one you were working in. Just sort of annoying. Wish it would stay where it was. Here you can see the iPod. There's an iPod cable. I don't have an iPod, so I never connected it. There's Bluetooth music. USB stick over here is a USB, mini USB input. So, and it comes with a cable that converts that, so you could bring a USB stick in. You see what I mean about it going to the last function that you were using. That's sort of stupid in my opinion. I'm wondering about the people that programmed this. Sort of silly. The other thing for people thinking about the stereo is that here in the compass, this is where you set up your time zone, and I have unfortunately had to go an hour out. I'm in Central Time, and this is Eastern Time, because there's no function in this stereo for daylight saving time. So once I had it all set up correctly, the thing, whenever I got into the car and turned the stereo on, unfortunately it would be out by an hour. So basically I just changed it to Eastern Time, and it's correct. And in this fall, when daylight savings time is over, I'll put it back to Central. Everything should be working fine after that. The old home button here. Overall, it's not bad. It's pretty responsive and everything. It's not perfect, but I'm happy with it. Here's the settings. See if I can get you a little close up. I don't know why there's all these reflections on this. It's looking pretty bad. But it's not that reflective when you're actually looking at it. You can set up, of course it plays video, so you can set up your brightness for the videos. On audio, you have an equalizer here, right? You have preset equalization settings down here that you can actually set it to cinema or user or hall or rock. And then if you press this button, here's your fader. So that allows you to set up, louder towards the rear or the front or the left or the right. So it's not bad. There's the loudness button there. It's a little bit odd place for them to put it, but that's where they put it. Let's see here. There you can set up your language. Here's where you set up the time. As you can see, you've got date and time, 12-hour format or 24-hour format, and that's it. There's nothing there for daylight savings time. And that's a pretty big oversight, I think. Of course, it comes from China. I guess they don't have daylight savings time. There we go with that function again. Okay, now I can make it stop doing that by just selecting the radio. There, now every time I let it time out, it'll go back to the radio, basically, and that's not so bad. Go back to home and go back into setup, and here's where you can tell it what type of radio you're using, like the region you're in. Here's where you can set up the different backgrounds. I have mine set to space, universe I should say. They have a whole bunch of different pictures for you to choose from, scenery and animals. You can even put cars in there and stuff. It would be really cool if your car happened to be in here. Mine's not. But that's pretty cool. Let's see here. This is where you can select what logo it's going to show when it first boots up. For some reason, instead of putting Chevy in here, they put Cruise for the Chevy Cruise. But whatever, I don't care. Doesn't matter to me. Here's the system info. Basically, this is running Windows CE. You can calibrate the touchscreen here. It worked perfectly when I got it, but I calibrated it anyway. And you can restore all the functions here back to their factory settings. Options. There you go. You can hook up a rear view camera. You can make it beep every time you press anything on there, which is really annoying. So I shut it off. And you can also test the brake switch on here. You're supposed to set it up so that you can't view videos unless your parking brake is on. Of course, I changed that by grounding the wire. And now if I have a passenger in the car, they can watch a video while we're driving if they want to. I don't watch videos in the car anyway, so it's probably not something I'll ever need to use. This is still the first stereo that I got that won't read optical discs. I'm expecting another one any day now that will correct that issue. Luckily, the company agreed to just put a hold on my credit card for the amount. They're sending me a replacement stereo, and when I send them this one back, they're going to take the hold off my card. The company has been very agreeable. If you go onto Amazon.com or Amazon.ca and you look for Pyle stereos, the company that's selling them for the least amount of money is the company I bought them from. I believe they're in New York or Boston. They say they're shipping from Canada when you go to Amazon.ca, but they don't. They ship from the US. But, I've already had to return one stereo to them. It was a different model and it was refurbished. And they sent me a prepaid shipping label, which was great. And I sent it back. Didn't cost me a cent. And when I found out that this stereo wouldn't read optical discs, they agreed to replace it as well and just use my credit card as a hold for the amount of the stereo until they got this one back. So they're a really good company. I guess I've been sort of annoying them. At least they haven't said that, but, I've been bugging them. This is the third stereo that I'll be getting. I told them after this, if I have a problem, I'll deal with Pyle. They've probably lost any profit they'd make on this sale because of all the shipping and everything that they've had to go through with me. So I think they've been pretty patient, and these problems haven't been caused by them. They've been caused by Pyle. So, you know, we'll just have to see. If the last one works really nice, then I'll be pretty happy with that. Overall, the stereo is pretty good, and I think I'm going to be keeping it. I'm happy with what it does. A couple of other things you might not need to know. You can set the steering wheel controls if you have them in your car, just like you can do keys in a computer game. When you're assigning, different keys to different functions in the game, you can do the same thing here. So you can make the controls on your steering wheel do pretty much any function, as long as your interface, your radio interface that you purchase for the install, has the option to be able to control steering wheel or use steering wheel controls. So if you don't have that, then don't expect to get this to work. Okay, here's background pictures you can change, and you can change the logo to whatever you want. And I'm not even sure what this logo is, you know. Okay, this is for, if I had logos on that NAP SD card. And I don't, so there's no point trying to find them, I guess. I'm not sure what this is either. Okay, again, this looks like some kind of setup for controls. The manual is horrible for this. Very poorly translated Chinese. It only tells you about half of the things in the stereo. There's no installation instructions. Okay, there's a great wiring diagram on the top of the stereo, which is all you really need. But unfortunately, there are no real good instructions with this. And, you know, as a company selling things in North America, I really think maybe Pyle should do something about that. Hire somebody who speaks English and get those manuals translated correctly. Because right now, it sounds like, children wrote those manuals. But, everything works. You can hear, if I turn this down, here, I'll just turn it off, okay? There we go, instant off. Now you can hear the interface adapter I purchased kept the signal light noises. They sound a little different. They're not quite as quality. So that's for the signal light. I hope you can hear it there. And of course there's chimes as well. They don't quite sound as quality as the factory one did because it's a cheap little speaker in the interface adapter. But it works, and I'm really happy with it. It retains the audio power when I turn the key off. We'll turn this back on here. Cool Chevy logo. And once this thing turns on, and I'm going to run out of time any second here on my camera. Okay, once this turns on, I can turn my key off. And as you can see, the power is retained. This is one of the things the expensive interface adapter is for. Retained audio accessory power. And then when you open the door and close it, it will shut off. So this will allow, a person to sit in the car and listen to the stereo when there's no key in the ignition. So that's not such a bad thing. I don't mind it. So that's it. It was simple to do. I used soldering, and I used connectors. Everything was pretty straightforward by the numbers. If anyone does need a hand, you can always, leave a message here. Other than that, if you're going to go for it, good luck. And just, keep some common sense about you, and you should be okay.